Now here's your host, Jason Voorhees and Aaron Savage.
Oh, yeah!
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a very abbreviated edition of the Sports and Metal. We're coming live tonight since it is NFL draft night, big night. And like I said, it's going to be a long show because we're pumped to announce, again, if you've followed us on social media, you've gotten the news, but a show is going to be big tomorrow night. So you get 2 Sports and Metals this week. Tomorrow night, we have a very special guest. He was supposed to be on the show about a month ago, but due to technical difficulties, he was unable to be on the show. So we're happy to announce he's coming back. He'll be here tomorrow night. Philip Sandoval from Armored Saint will be right here tomorrow night at 8 p.m. on the Sports and Metal podcast. You're not going to miss it. Anyway, I'm here with my co-host, Jason Voorhees. This is Aaron Savage. We're pumped to be here. It's draft night. We got our gear on. Jay's an Eagles fan. I'm a Dolphins fan. It's a big, big night. As a Dolphins fan, I'm pumped. We have the 6th and 18th pick in the first round. Thank you, Jay, for the 6th pick. But that being said, why don't we start off with the big news of the day, Jay? Word on the street is that Aaron Rodgers is unhappy in Green Bay and wants out. What's going on?
Yeah. I mean, first of all, I'm excited to be here. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else than with my best friend, Aaron. We're blessed to be able to do this show and, to actually be able to do 2 shows in 1 week. That's pretty amazing. To do something that we enjoy, and it's just a fun time. But, yeah, getting to Aaron Rodgers, I got to be honest with you, I didn't see it coming, but if you really followed the story about Aaron Rodgers the last year and a half, since they took Jordan Love last year in the first round, I'm not shocked. Let's just put it that way. It's kind of been out there that he hasn't been happy with this organization for a while. They went, he took them to the NFC Championship. They draft a quarterback in the first round, and then they don't draft, another receiver or a running back or another weapon that he kind of pleaded to the team to get him, more weapons. And they basically snubbed their nose at him. Let's fast forward to now. Obviously, he wants a new contract, and they, the Green Bay Packers, they asked him to just restructure, but he wants an extension. So to me, I mean, this guy, multi-year MVP award winner. I mean, you and I both agree that he's definitely already in the top 10 quarterbacks of all time. I mean, this guy's an amazing elite quarterback that puts up elite numbers every year. I mean, he's basically the heart and soul of the team. You would think that Green Bay would treat him as much. And the fact that they're kind of basically almost expecting that he's just going to stick around is kind of ridiculous to me. So I kind of, like I said, I'm not shocked. I was a little surprised that it came out, today. But I'm assuming that, part of that has to do with, maybe he feels like this is a good time to bring it up because maybe they'll just trade him, being that maybe, a team that has a high draft pick will be willing to go get him.
I don't see it happening. It'd be a shocker. This might just be a leverage move for Rodgers to get a bigger contract extension. Who knows? But I mean, he's got a lot going on in his personal life. I mean, he's recently engaged. He's been on Jeopardy now as the host. He says he wants a full-time gig hosting Jeopardy. It's a dream job. So I don't know where his head's at, but I mean, this definitely dates back to last year when they drafted a quarterback. I think he looked at it as a slap in the face. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the fact that this year alone, there's just been so many rumors of quarterbacks wanting to change teams. That in itself is just crazy. I mean,
well, how about another rumor? There's rumors that the Patriots want to trade for Garoppolo.
Well, yeah. Well, that kind of goes.
I mean, he's definitely getting traded at this point. Niners have the number 3 pick. They're all in for a quarterback. So, who do you think the Niners take with the 3rd pick?
Well, it's just the reason I was saying, and I know you're saying you don't see it happening, but I know that the 49ers are one of the 3 teams that Aaron Rodgers listed on his – he listed 3 teams today that he's willing to go to. And it was the 49ers, the Raiders, and the Denver Broncos. Now, of those 3 teams, the Raiders are out because they don't have the money. So the 2 teams remaining that could afford him are the 49ers and the Broncos. Now, interesting enough, 49ers have the 3rd pick. The Broncos have I believe it's the 8th or the 9th. I think it's the 9th. Not saying that would be enough, obviously, to get Rodgers, but you got to remember, whoever's going to trade for Rodgers, that's a big contract. So they're not going to have to probably give up as much because knowing where the leverage is and the fact that Rodgers doesn't want to play. I mean, basically, Rodgers at this point, he's holding Denver over the coals because if he doesn't want to play, he could just sit out. And it's not going to end good because the report says that he does not want to fix things at this point. So are
you implying that you think the Niners are going to make a trade early in this draft and trade that 3rd pick to Green Bay for Aaron Rodgers?
I'm implying
Is that your bold prediction?
I'm implying that it could, and I'm
bold prediction from Jason Voorhees. You heard it here first.
That's my bold prediction.
Shortly.
But it would kind of go against the original report from earlier that said that the 49ers, that the Green Bay nixed that deal. But that's why I think this is I agree. I do agree with you to a certain extent. I think some of this is kind of like, it's just coming out because, like you said, the back and forth, it doesn't mean that the trade's going to go down today, but I am saying that it could because the 49ers are one of the teams that he mentioned. The 49ers could easily call Green Bay and say, all right, well, we know we heard the report, or, we'll give you another shot. Do you want to make this
special guest?
There's Meyer in the background.
There he is.
What's going on, Meyer?
Special guest. What is that, velvet? I'll see you later, buddy. Bye. Special guest, Meyer, my son, on the Sports Metal podcast. Sorry, Jay, as you were.
It's okay. The joys of having a kid.
That's it.
I wish I could say that, have my kid join the podcast, but.
So go on. I lost you for a sec. Say that again.
Well, no.
I got distracted, as you can see.
That's okay. So basically, I was saying the 49ers could still turn around and say, okay, well, we'll give you this pick, the 3rd pick, and whatever else they're going to package if you give us Rodgers. And that if that happened, that would be kind of nuts because at that point, who would Green Bay take? Because Green Bay just took a quarterback last year in the 1st round.
Yeah.
No, it's just Goodell going up to the podium.
Okay, I can't see it. I can't because we're doing the show. We all know Trevor Lawrence is going number 1, but
yeah, the whole world knows that.
Yeah.
So I guess where it's going to get dicey is most reports have said that the Jets are going to take Zach Wilson with pick 2. However, there were reports, like you said earlier, that the Jets are saying that they could be interested in Mac Jones.
Yeah.
I think the bottom line is where it really is going to get dicey is pick 3. Because, like I said, that's where the 49ers sit. If the 49ers
the Jets are taking Zach Jones.
Pretty much because I'm going to tell you why I think that is. Because I think that's why the Eagles made the deal with the Dolphins. Because apparently the Eagles' original target was Zach Wilson, but then they figured out that if they traded up to the 3rd pick, he wouldn't be available. So that's why they ended up trading back with the Dolphins because they wanted they had 3 targets in mind, and they were Zach Wilson, Kyle Pitts, the tight end, and Jamar Chase. And rumors are that, and we do have a comment that my buddy Mike just posted. He's a Falcons fan. Rumor is Falcons are taking correct. So that would take him off the board. And then Jamar Chase has been widely rumored to be going pick 5 to the Bengals because Joe Burrow played with Jamar Chase at LSU, and he's lobbying for the Bengals to draft him. So Eagles, knowing those couple things, that's why they ended up trading with the Dolphins, because they figured they could trade back, get the first-round pick from the Dolphins, and then still get a good player. So I think obviously it helped the Dolphins, but it made sense for the Eagles.
Yeah, the Dolphins are using this point for draft capital.
And rightfully so.
Picks as they can. That's it.
Yeah, and I mean, we spoke about that last week on the show. Me and Sam. Sam, he's a draft expert, and he even gave kudos and high marks to the Dolphins for what they're doing. And why not? I mean, they're definitely building the right way. They have multiple picks every year high in the draft, and they already have a good base of young core players. So obviously the Dolphins are doing the right thing and moving up. Now here, as we speak, it looks like Goodell's probably getting ready to make the first.
Number 1. So who do you take? Who do the Dolphins take at 6, Jay?
Well, most reports say. Well, here's the deal. It depends on what happens with the Bengals.
On, Joe? There he is, Buchadelphia, right there.
If the Bengals take Jamar Chase, I think that the Dolphins could go one of 2 ways. The Dolphins could take an offensive lineman. The guy Penei Sewell, he's offensive tackle. He's probably the best offensive tackle in this draft since I'm just trying to think of one of the great tackles that went off the board in the last 5 years. He's legit. I mean, he's a stud. So they could take him. If I had my guess, I think they're going to go wide receiver, but they did sign Will Fuller in the offseason, and Will Fuller is definitely a wide receiver. Well, I don't think wide receiver is the Dolphins' number 1 need, but if I were a betting man, knowing how the NFL is going and moving, I think the Dolphins should take a receiver to surround, Tua with as many weapons as possible. So I think they could either go, if Jamar Chase is gone, I think they either go Waddle or Devonta Smith.
I mean, Kyle Pitts is who I'd like to see fall to 6. I don't see it happening.
Yeah. Well, obviously.
But that being said, I think if that's the case, I think the Dolphins take Jalen Waddle with the 6th pick. I could see them still taking Devontae Smith, though, and reuniting Tua with him. But I think they take Jalen Waddle. I think Devontae Smith falls in the draft just because of his weight. I think if he was heavier, he'd be the top receiver taken in this draft. But his size is going to work against him. I'll be happy regardless of who the Dolphins take with the 6th pick. There's a lot of guys here that I love. Who are the Giants getting? Jay, what are your thoughts? Who do the Giants take?
The Giants. Well, the Giants.
What's up, Brad?
What's going on, Brad? Thanks for joining us. The Giants. That's an interesting because obviously NFC East. My rival.
That's why I wanted your opinion.
Well, the Giants, I think they could go a couple ways. I think the Giants need defense. The Giants did just sign Kenny Golladay at wide receiver, and they already have Darius Slayton, and they also have Sterling Shepard. I mean, they were both pretty high draft picks themselves. So I think that the Giants really don't need a receiver. They have Evan Ingram, who I know a lot of Giants fans don't like, but he is only still 25 years old. And I think by getting Kenny Golladay, he's going to spread the field. if I had my guess, I think the Giants could take Micah Parsons, the linebacker, who this is going to be another Jason bold prediction. But if there's a player in this draft that has kind of like went under the radar and is kind of, in most mocks, they've had him outside of the top 10, but that could be a definite game-changing player. I mean, we're talking about a wrecker on the field, Aaron. Micah Parsons is that guy. I love Micah Parsons. Obviously, I'm a Penn State guy, and I've seen quite a few film on him, and this guy is a beast.
To answer Brad's question, I think if he's still on the board, I think the Giants go receiver, and I think the Giants take Devontae Smith. So that's my prediction.
Okay.
I see some other people think they're going to go a different way, but I'm going Devontae Smith. If I'm Green Bay, I trade Rodgers for a high first-round pick, then trade down for multiple picks in the 2 to 4 rounds.
I love your thinking, Frank. That's exactly my thought. That's why I think 49ers make sense.
That's what we were just talking about. Jay had his bold prediction. We'll see if the Niners trade that 3 pick to Green Bay.
Yeah, I definitely think that that would be a shocker. I mean, talk about a trade of all trades at the draft. I don't think we would ever see one that big, like as far as big a name that's been moved. I mean, there's been quite a few trades during the draft, but what do you think, Aaron? Do you remember one that big?
Maybe the Ricky Williams trade.
Yeah, but I'm talking about not trade. Like, I'm talking trade for a player in the draft.
Yeah, okay. Nothing like that. And here's the thing. On that note, Jay. I don't think there's ever been a player. You could fact check me on this, but I'm willing to take it to the bank. A player has never been traded after winning the MVP. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, you mean the year after?
Yeah, the very next. Yeah, of course. The year after. It would be an unprecedented event.
Oh, that's what I mean. So talk about like a landscape changer too, especially if he would go to the AFC, because
sure.
I'll tell you, the team that would be the dark horse to me would be Denver. And Denver's a team that they're sitting there with a lot of young. They have those stud wide receivers. Don't forget, last year they drafted Jerry Jeudy, who also played with Devonta Smith and Jalen Waddle. I mean, talk about a team that grooms the receivers. Yep. That Alabama team is sick.
That Alabama team groomed stars, period. Just NFL talent.
You're right, and that's what blows my mind as an Eagles fan, that we never draft these guys. We take guys from like small schools. It's like, just take the safe pick. These guys almost always work out, right? Who was the last Alabama guy that didn't work out?
I couldn't even tell you, man. I mean they all at least are decent in the NFL,
And that's what I mean. But so get back to my point, Jerry Jeudy. They took KJ Hamler in the second round. He was from Penn State. And then they had Courtland Sutton, who was a first-round pick the year before. And they had Melvin Gordon, who basically last year, I mean, he had a comeback year. I mean, don't forget, Melvin Gordon was like one of those like all-purpose backs that, had like 2,000 yards just 2 years ago with the Chargers. So Denver's a team that has loads of weapons, and they got Noah Fant at tight end, who's basically like the next Kelsey, maybe not Kelsey, but the next level.
I don't know if anybody's Kelsey, but he's definitely on the upper echelon.
Yeah, my point. My point is he's 23 and he's an up and comer. So they have all kinds of weapons. They add Aaron Rodgers to the mix, and they already have a good defense. That puts them right in the mix then in the AFC. I mean, you're talking Kansas City, obviously Buffalo with the way they had their success with Josh Allen. I say definitely Miami. They're on the up and up. And like I said, if Denver gets Rodgers, that puts them right there. So they could be a team that, maybe is on the phone. I mean, like you said, I don't think it's going to happen today, but you never know. We could be blown away with an Aaron Rodgers trade today.
Now, let me ask you this. Where do you think Justin Fields goes in this draft? Justin Fields, he could be the second best quarterback in this draft, and he's projected behind Zach Wilson, Mac Jones. Where do you think he goes?
Well, that's another interesting point because I've already said numerous times on numerous shows, and I've said it to you in our own conversations, that I'm definitely higher on Jalen Hurts than a lot of the public. I think Jalen Hurts has all the tools. With that being said, Fields is the kind of guy that if he fell to 12 and the Eagles are sitting there, that would be a very, very tough choice for me to pass up. Because to me,
I agree.
I'm telling you right now, I think Justin Fields is neck and neck with Trevor Lawrence. I think Trevor Lawrence gets all the publicity, and they're saying, yes, pure passing wise, he might be the best passer that's come out since Andrew Luck. But Justin Fields, and there's been a lot of talk, with some scouts that he's right there. But I don't know how there's a disconnect, because where are these other teams are, looking at the Mac Joneses and the Zach Wilsons. For some reason, there's something there that these teams aren't liking about Justin Fields. But I'm going to tell you right now, whoever passes on that guy, I think he's going to end up being the second best quarterback in this draft. Where do I think he's going to go? I think the Patriots are going to trade up and they're going to draft him.
I think the Patriots land Justin Fields with the 8th pick. And guess what? Then he's coached by Bill Belichick, and he's a pocket guy. So
I think if
perfect fit.
If the Patriots got Justin Fields, it would be amazing for the Patriots.
Yeah. Because like I said, there's the rumors they're interested in Garoppolo too. So for all we know, they could be interested in Garoppolo, but there's so many variables there.
Well, here's the deal. I don't think you could ever have enough quarterbacks in the league, especially with injuries. So I think even if the Patriots did get Garoppolo, I don't think, or even if they did draft Fields, it wouldn't preclude them from getting a Garoppolo. Now, obviously, they just re-signed Cam Newton too. Now, I don't see them having 3 quarterbacks, but they could always trade Newton or something.
That's where I was going with this. I almost wonder if they would trade Newton, bring Garoppolo in as a veteran presence, and have Justin Fields hold the clipboard for a year.
They very well could do that, because I think that Garoppolo probably knows even though he hasn't been there in a couple of years, he still knows their system better than Cam Newton. Because don't forget, Cam Newton last year, remember with the COVID stuff, he missed the 3 games.
And I just think Garoppolo is more of a Belichick type player to me.
I agree.
He fits the mold.
He definitely fits.
Trevor Lawrence was just drafted with the number 1 pick. We all knew that was coming. Jay, we're going to wrap this show up tonight. We hope everybody enjoys the draft. It started. We'll see what happens. We'll see if any of these predictions come true. Clock's ticking away to see if the Niners do make that trade for Aaron Rodgers, as Jay boldly predicts. We'll find out shortly, and we'll see what's going on with that. Like I said, everybody enjoy the draft, and tune in tomorrow night to Sports and Metal. We'll be right back here at 8 o'clock. Phil Sandoval from Armored Saint. It's going to be an amazing show, Jay. I know you're pumped, dude.
I'm excited.
I am too, man. So, listen, we're excited for the draft tonight. We're going to get our focus and our attention onto that. We're going to enjoy it, and fins up, baby. Let's go, Dolphins.
Fly, Eagles, fly.
All right, Jay. All right, good.
And that's our show. Tune in next time for more Sports and Metal with Jason Voorhees and Aaron Savage. Woo, yeah! Got something to say? Hit us up at sportsandmetal0423 at yahoo.com or on Twitter at sportsandmetal.